Karen told an Asian medic, "Go back home." He saved her father's life. In the sleepy town of Pinewood Grove, where the streets were lined with blooming cherry blossoms and the community prided itself on quaint charm, Karen Hargrove was a storm cloud in human form. At 52, with her peroxide blonde hair teased into a stiff bob, her wardrobe a parade of pastel cardigans, and a voice that could curdle milk, Karen had made it her mission to keep Pinewood in line. She was the type to complain about kids skateboarding too loudly, demand refunds for cold fries she let sit for an hour, and glare at anyone who didn't fit her narrow vision of American. Her neighbors tolerated her, barely, but on a sunny afternoon in April 2025, Karen's reign of petty tyranny would crash headlong into a lesson she'd never forget. Across town lived Dr. Ethan Nguyen, a 32-year-old paramedic who'd moved to Pinewood 3 years earlier. Born to Vietnamese immigrants, Ethan had grown up in California, graduated top of his paramedic training class, and settled in Pinewood to work for the county EMS. With his calm demeanor, sharp jawline, and a quiet pride in his heritage, Ethan was well-liked, except by those who, like Karen, saw his almond eyes and dark hair as foreign. He didn't flaunt his skills, but his steady hands and quick thinking had saved more lives than most could count. Fate, it seemed, had a way of bringing Ethan and Karen together, and not in a way she'd enjoy. It all began at Pinewood Park, where the annual spring fair was in full swing. Booths sold cotton candy and kettle corn, kids darted through a bounce house, and a local band strummed cheerful tunes. Karen had dragged her 78-year-old father, Harold, to the event, mostly to show off her new designer purse and complain about the riffraff attending. Harold, a gruff retiree with a weak heart and a stubborn streak, shuffled beside her, grumbling about the heat. Karen, as usual, ignored him, her focus on policing the crowd. Ethan was there too, off-duty but volunteering at the first aid tent. Dressed in a bright red EMS polo, he handed out water bottles and bandaged a kid's scraped knee, chatting easily with fairgoers. Karen spotted him from across the field, her eyes narrowing. "Who's that?" she thought, clutching her purse tighter. "He doesn't look like he belongs here." Never mind that Ethan's tent had a giant medical sign or that he was clearly helping people. Karen's radar pinged, and she zeroed in. She marched over, Harold trailing reluctantly behind. "Excuse me," she barked, her voice slicing through the chatter. Ethan turned, wiping his hands on a towel. "Can I help you, ma'am?" he asked, polite but wary. Karen crossed her arms, her sunglasses glinting in the sun. "What are you doing here? This is a family event, not some immigrant free-for-all." A few heads turned, eyebrows raised. Ethan blinked, processing her words. "I'm a paramedic," he said, gesturing to his shirt. "Volunteering. Is there a problem?" Karen scoffed, loud and theatrical. "Oh, please, a paramedic? You? Where'd you even come from? Why don't you go back home where you belong? We don't need outsiders pretending to be heroes around here." Her voice carried, drawing a small crowd. Harold shifted uncomfortably, muttering, "Karen, let's go." But she waved him off. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he kept his cool. "I was born in Sacramento, ma'am. This is my home. I'm just here to help." His tone was firm, a quiet challenge beneath the calm. Karen smirked, undeterred. "Sacramento, huh? Sure. I bet you're not even certified. I should report you. Get someone to check your papers." The insult landed like a slap. A woman nearby gasped, whispering to her friend, "Did she really just say that?" Ethan's colleague, a burly paramedic named Mike, stepped up, glaring at Karen. "Lady, he's the best medic we've got. Back off." But Karen doubled down, puffing up like a peacock. "I'll back off when I feel safe. I'm a taxpayer. I deserve to know who's handling my emergencies." Harold coughed, a dry, rattling sound, and leaned against the table. "Karen, enough!" he wheezed, but she ignored him, too caught up in her tirade. The conflict simmered, tension crackling like static. Ethan shook his head, turning back to his work, but Karen's words lingered, a venomous cloud over the sunny day. Then it happened. Harold's cough turned sharp, his face paling as he clutched his chest. He stumbled, knocking over a stack of water bottles, and crumpled to the grass with a groan. The crowd froze, a collective gasp rising. Karen spun around, her smugness evaporating. "Dad? Dad!" she shrieked, dropping to her knees beside him. "Somebody help! He's having a heart attack!" Ethan didn't hesitate. He grabbed his med kit, shoving past the gawkers, and knelt beside Harold. "Sir, can you hear me?" he asked, checking Harold's pulse. Weak, erratic. "He's in cardiac arrest. Mike, call it in. Get the ambulance here now." Mike nodded, radio crackling as he relayed the emergency. Karen's eyes widened, recognition hitting her like a freight train. "You!" she sputtered, her voice a mix of panic and disbelief. "No, no way! Get away from him! I don't trust you!" She lunged forward, trying to push Ethan back, but Mike blocked her. "Ma'am, step aside," he snapped. "He knows what he's doing." Ethan ignored her, ripping open Harold's shirt and starting chest compressions. His movements were precise, rhythmic. 30 compressions, 2 breaths, repeat. Sweat beaded on his forehead, but his focus was unbreakable. Karen flailed, screaming, "He's going to kill him! Someone stop this! Where's a real doctor?" The crowd murmured, some filming, others shouting for her to shut up. Harold's lips were turning blue, his body limp. The turning point crystallized. The man Karen had just insulted, the outsider she'd demanded leave, was now the only thing standing between her father and death. Her prejudice had painted her into a corner, and karma was brushing in the edges. The ambulance screeched into the park 5 minutes later, sirens blaring. Ethan kept up CPR, his arms aching but steady, until the EMTs, 2 women named Lisa and Tara, took over with a defibrillator. "Clear!" Lisa shouted, shocking Harold's chest. The monitor beeped once, twice, then a faint rhythm. "We've got a pulse," Tara called, prepping an oxygen mask. Ethan stepped back, breathing hard, as they loaded Harold onto a stretcher. Karen stood frozen, her hands trembling, mascara streaking down her face. "Is he?" she whispered, but no one answered. She didn't deserve it yet. The EMTs rushed Harold to the ambulance, Ethan following to brief them. "Male, 78, cardiac arrest, CPR for 6 minutes. History of heart trouble, per the daughter." Lisa nodded, slamming the doors. The siren wailed as they sped off. The crowd erupted, some clapping for Ethan, others glaring at Karen. A teenage girl with a phone yelled, "That's what you get, lady!" Karen spun around, her face a mask of rage and shame. "You don't know me!" she screamed, but her voice cracked. Mike stepped forward, arms crossed. "We all saw it. You told him to go back home, and he still saved your dad. How's that feel?" Karen's collapse was swift and public. She sank onto a bench, sobbing, as the fairgoers dispersed, whispering about that awful woman. By evening, the videos were everywhere. X, TikTok, local news. "Racist Karen attacks medic, gets humbled when he saves her father" trended nationwide. Her phone buzzed with hate messages, her Facebook flooded with screenshots of her outburst. Pinewood's gossipy Nextdoor app lit up. "Karen Hargrove is a disgrace. Hope she's banned from the fair next year." At the hospital, Harold stabilized. "Thanks to Ethan's quick response," the doctor said. Karen sat by his bed, silent, as he rasped, "You're an idiot, Karen. That boy saved me." She had no defense, no snappy comeback. Her world shrank to the beeping monitors and her father's disappointed stare. Weeks later, Pinewood buzzed with the aftermath. Ethan got a commendation from the EMS director, a quiet nod to his heroism. He didn't gloat, just went back to work, same as always. The fair organizers sent him a thank you plaque, which he hung in his garage next to his old soccer trophies. Life moved on, but Pinewood didn't forget. Karen, meanwhile, unraveled. Her social circle shrank. Neighbors avoided her, stores forgot her orders, and her yoga class mysteriously filled up. She tried a tearful apology on X. "I was stressed, I didn't mean it." But the internet wasn't buying. Her reputation was toast, her entitlement exposed. She sold her house by July, moving to a condo 2 towns over, where no one knew her shame. Harold recovered, grumbling but grateful. He sent Ethan a handwritten note. "Thanks, kid. Sorry about my daughter." Ethan smiled, tucking it away. The cherry blossoms bloomed on, indifferent to Karen's fall. In Pinewood Grove, karma didn't shout. It just worked, steady and sure, like a medic's hands on a fading heart.